So today we'd like to talk about the topic which is being intentional about supporting women in the workplace. And we have with us Rushali, who's the co-founder of Incubyte. And we want to discuss a topic that is not discussed very often, and we'd like to address it head on, which is pregnancy and childbirth during your career and while working. So this is a topic that creates a lot of anxiety amongst working women, and a lot of women even leave their jobs because of either pregnancy or childbirth. And we'd love to talk to you, Rushali, about your experience of both the times that you have been pregnant during your career and how you dealt with it both the times.
Sure, I'd be happy to. Um, so I can start with this current one. I'm now in my 8th month, so almost nearing the end. Luckily, I've had quite a smooth journey, thanks to this one. But the first trimester was exceptionally rough. You have a lot of changes happening, and you're dealing with you're coping with a lot of changes while also having all the work pressures. Oftentimes in the first trimester, women don't even disclose to a lot of people that they are pregnant, and that creates even more anxiety, because you can't tell people that, oh, I'm going to take half a day off because I'm exhausted just living my life.
Or doctor's appointments.
And that's where being remote, having flexi time, having really supportive colleagues who I felt comfortable telling that I'm going through this. I knew that they would be extremely accepting of the fact, and they themselves would not feel anxious, because being someone who's running a business, I can imagine that my team might feel anxious. Just knowing that I'm going through a pregnancy, they might think, what will we do, or what will happen to us? And having a really supportive team helped a lot. So I'd say that initially that was the struggle, just trying to deal with all these changes. Come second trimester, I think everything was a lot smoother health-wise, and also work-wise. I had kind of figured out my comfortable spot. I had started to think about longer term, what's going to happen, how I'm going to prepare for my time off. So that was great. And then now in the third trimester, except for the fact that I'm getting really huge and it's becoming unwieldy, one day I was having trouble just plugging in my laptop charger. My tummy was getting in the way. So apart from those things, I think I'm kind of almost prepared, because I know that we have set up the right framework, and everyone in the team is prepared to take over from me if I have to go away for a little bit. So that's where we are right now.
Right. And this time it has been a bit different, because post-COVID, we all went remote, and Incubyte, of course, is 100% completely remote. And the previous time that you went through this transition, it wasn't remote. So how was your experience, both these times?
It's been totally different during my previous pregnancy, even though it was like 8 years back. But I worked throughout my pregnancy, or I worked till the very last day, in fact. But that was in a physical office. So the difference is unimaginable. Being remote, I'm in my comfort zone. I have the flexibility to rest if I want to. I can respond to the needs of my body whenever I need to. I'm able to take more care about what I eat, when I eat, and just live a healthier lifestyle overall. I don't need to commute. Not that I had much of a commute previously, but in general, that saves time as well, and gives you more time for yourself, which I think is awesome.
Right.
Also, having an older kid during this time, right? And you can't imagine, because that kid is also going through a lot of emotional changes, being anxious about being a sibling, and dealing with that patiently has been so much easier being remote, and just being around him
Right.
when he needs me. So I think remote has just been an incredibly amazing thing that happened to us, and to be able to go through this phase being remote is perfect.
Since you are a business leader, since you are the co-founder, would you ever think about going back to the traditional way of working in a physical office, or a hybrid way of working? or how do you see basically Incubyte growing in this time that we are in?
I think we'll respond to what the team needs. So oftentimes, yes, people need that physical connection. People need to be in an office environment. People need other people around to collaborate with and to work with. If we see the need for that, yes, we will think of a hybrid environment. But given my experience recently, and I know how impossible it would have been for me to go through a pregnancy while being in a physical office, I do believe that we're never going to mandate being in the office. It's probably going to be either remote or some version of remote and hybrid.
You mentioned how you have planned for your time off, and you're going to go through a maternity break right after. So what are the things that you've done, or how have you set up your processes and your systems to allow you to go off on a little bit of a maternity break?
Yeah, luckily we are given almost 9 months to prepare for it. So it gives us a lot of time. And I started by just introspecting what all I do. And in fact, this was a great opportunity for me to do that, because oftentimes you're just stuck in your rut of just doing things, and you do not take a higher level view and think about your personal role and why you're doing what you're doing and how you could do it more efficiently. But this was the right trigger for me to really do that introspection. What all am I doing, and where am I a single point of failure? What would impact if I went away for a few months, what would happen to Incubyte? And that's when I started to kind of create a list of processes that I either had to create, which we didn't have in place, or processes we needed to refine or automate. There were a lot of things we could have done which could have just been automated. I didn't have to do them in the first place. So looking at all our processes with a fine-tooth comb was the first thing I did. And then I think just enabling others in the team to take up bits and pieces of that, and working closely with them to make sure they are comfortable doing it is where I have spent a lot of time during these last few months.
So what would be your parting thought to anyone who's going through a similar transition at work?
I think first, it is normal and it's okay. You do not have to be super anxious about it. It's part of life and people understand that. Just accepting that fact is a huge step. Yes, you have to prepare for it. You have to put all the checks and balances in place so that your absence is not felt as much. You have to be sincere about it, be open about it, be honest about it, but do what you need to do and, take care of your own self, take care of your family. And this is a time when that is a priority. Of course, work shouldn't suffer.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for talking to us about this.
Thank you.
So we hope this conversation has helped you be more open about similar situations in your workplace and address it head on.